On Thursday, President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris participated in an event to celebrate the 50 millionth COVID-19 vaccine shot administered in the U.S. Mr. Biden said the country is moving in the right direction. The U.S. is halfway to reaching the president's goal of administering 100 million vaccinations in his first 100 days.
Today, I'm here to report we're halfway there. 50 million shots in just 37 days since I've become president. That's weeks ahead of schedule. Weeks before I became president, the previous administration saw 6 million shots administered last week. This coming week, we will administer over 12 million shots, double the pace in just 6 weeks that we've been in office.
Coronavirus cases and deaths in the U.S. have been declining for weeks. The FDA could grant approval to Johnson & Johnson's single-dose vaccine as soon as Saturday. It comes as pharmaceutical maker Pfizer says it's testing to see whether adding a third injection to its two-shot regimen could offer additional protection against the virus. Also this week, researchers released 2 reports that are raising alarms over a new coronavirus variant that's spreading rapidly in New York City. A second variant discovered in California has also shown to be more transmissible. Dr. Krutika Kuppalli joins me now. She's an infectious disease physician at the Medical University of South Carolina. Doctor, welcome. Thanks very much for being with us. So clinical trials show that Pfizer's vaccine is already 95% effective at preventing symptoms of COVID-19 after 2 shots. What is the thinking behind adding a third shot?
So I think they're trying to figure out if adding a third shot will help further enhance the body's immune system to help protect against other variants that might help evade the immune system. So that's one of the things that they're trying to see. I know that Pfizer's also potentially working on another vaccine that might help against different strains of the vaccine. So they're looking at 2 different things to see how they can help work against these new variants that we're seeing.
Well, on Thursday, researchers confirmed a new variant has been discovered in New York City, B.1.526. What concerns you the most about this mutation?
Well, I think we're still learning a lot about this new mutation or this new variant. I think that there's some possibility that it could help evade the natural host defenses. And so there's some concern that it might be more increasingly transmissible, or it could cause more severe disease. But the data is still extremely preliminary. We don't know enough about this new variant just as of yet. I do know that it contains one mutation that we've seen in the South African variant, the B.1.351 variant. But again, this data is very preliminary, and we need to still learn more about it.
Well, according to the CDC, as of Tuesday, more than 64% of the first shot of vaccine doses have gone to people who are white. Black and Latino people have received only 8% and 6% of the first shots. What is an effective approach to address both the mistrust of vaccines in communities of color and the barriers preventing access to them?
Well, I think that that's a very important question, and it's something we really do need to address. I think that we really need to get out into these communities and be working to have vaccine clinics and outreaches into these communities of color. How can we best reach these people? We need to really work on having effective and good communication, effective and good community engagement. So we need to develop partnerships with people in these communities that have these trusted leaders, and have them be speaking to their communities and talking to them about getting the vaccine. We also need to develop important campaigns in these communities and have access for these people to get the vaccine. So here in the South, where we have strong religious communities, developing partnerships with the churches and the leaders in those communities so they can help reach out to their parishioners to get the vaccine. That's going to be really important, and developing those types of strong partnerships. I also think it's important for people to see people that look like them that have gotten the vaccine and hear their stories. I think that if they can hear that somebody got the vaccine and hear their experience, that also makes them more comfortable to get it. And then finally, I think hearing from mutable people what their experiences are like, what the side effects are like. People have lots of questions, and being patient and answering those questions is really important as well.
So Americans could soon have a choice of 3 different vaccines. Is one better than the others? And if you envision a time when people might have a choice, what would you advise?
I think the most important thing for anybody to understand is all 3 of these vaccines are wonderful vaccines. And the most important thing about all of them is they all protect you from getting severe COVID and from death and from hospitalization. So any vaccine you have the opportunity to get is a great vaccine. So if you have the opportunity to get the Johnson & Johnson vaccine or the Moderna vaccine or the Pfizer vaccine, get whichever one you can get. The Johnson & Johnson vaccine is a great vaccine. It was 100% effective at preventing COVID-related hospitalization and COVID-related death. That is an amazing vaccine. The Pfizer and Moderna vaccine, likewise, were extremely good at preventing COVID-related hospitalization and COVID-related death. That is what you want from a vaccine, is to prevent people from getting hospitalized and prevent people from dying. So I encourage people that if you have an opportunity to get any one of these vaccines, to please get it.
Well, what does the introduction of Johnson & Johnson's single-dose vaccine potentially mean for the pandemic?
I think that the Johnson & Johnson vaccine is going to be a game changer for the pandemic. It is a one-shot vaccine, which again helps with logistics. Again, it's also a vaccine that doesn't have difficult logistics. It can be stored in a refrigerator, so we don't have to deal with ultra cold storage. So that makes it very easy to roll out to difficult to reach populations. So people in rural communities, people in difficult to reach communities, and for mobile populations. I think that will be very easy. I think that, there are people who don't like getting shots. So because it's a one-shot vaccine, that will make things much easier. We don't have to have the critical planning that we've had to have for the Moderna and the Pfizer vaccines because we don't have the ultra cold storage requirement. So those are all very important things to think about. And also having another vaccine just increases the amount of doses that we're going to have, so we'll be able to vaccinate people quicker, not just here in the United States, but all over the world. Remember, this is a global pandemic, and we're going to need numerous vaccines in large numbers of doses if we're going to be able to get ourselves out of this pandemic.
All right, Dr. Krutika Kuppalli, really valuable to have your insight. Thank you very much.
Thank you.